Hello and welcome to Eyewitness Report. I am Jomi Otaibi. This week on the program, people from 26 villages in Adedero community, an area in Obafemi Owode local government area of Ogun State, are unhappy as they seek government's intervention in removing what they describe as an illegal fence that has seemingly cut them off from the rest of the world. Also on this edition, survivor of a recent fuel tanker explosion on the OTEDOLA bridge in Lagos recounts his experience as we conclude our trail on the unfortunate incident which occurred on 19th December 2020. Stay with us. The fear of being separated from others is generating tension among villages in Adedero community in Obafemi Owode area of Ogun State. The action of one man has allegedly cut off about 26 villages from the express road where the schools and health centers are located.
Adedero in Ogun State is an agrarian community known for the cultivation of various produce, including the popular fada rice, which can be found in every household. They're also into plantain as well as cassava cultivation, which they process into gari. The quiet community has grown quieter due to a major incident that appears to have impacted them and their children negatively. This wall, erected in August 2020 on what they claim is an ancestral path to and fro 26 of their villages through Kobakwe Road, is the problem. Instead of the usual 10 minutes walk through this path to the villages, the inhabitants now take a longer route home since the blockade.
To go to these 25 villages, it will just take you some about 7 minutes, but the highest is about 15 minutes to get to the village. That is like going straight like this. But now, for us to get to that village, you have to go and parabolate. You move from here, from this junction, you now go and come like this, you come like this, you pass through Kobakwe. From Kobakwe, you now go to Mosumore. From Mosumore, you now go to Marako. Before you now run merry-go-round. You can see the distance. You go like this. And here, even if you don't have a transport fee, you can use your leg to trek here from our village. But for you to go like this, you are going to spend extra 600 to 700 naira. Apart from that, when you look at this road, you will see that it has been existing for over 50 years. This is where my forefathers passed, because I'm from Igbomeku, and everybody knows the Taylor's family in Igbomeku. Right? This road also leads to 6 polling booths in this area.
They say it's a case of an influential citizen attempting to oppress the poor.
Around 4 or 5 years ago, when he came, that he wanted to start his development. So he first of all put a barricade, this iron barricade, and posted some security to the road, that anybody that coming in, going out from the community, they can be checked for security purposes. So he told our fathers like that. But when we, the young ones from the town, we experience such, because even when you are coming, before you knock, they open for you, it will take you time. But being that he has explained is for security purpose, we have to come to that security of our community must be very, very essential. So, but surprisingly, around September, he summoned about 4 ballets, which is Bege, Lufoko, Ayiwere, and Oboloko. Only 4 ballets out of about 40 ballets in the community that the state government, Ogun State government, has approved is a plan to start his project, that this our road will be closed. And meanwhile, he told our fathers, the ballets, that they should go and find any other means for them to have access to another road. But they are old people and they are farmers. So being that this man is a lawyer and is a learned person, they don't know what to do. Even he doesn't give them any response of listening to their problem, that the challenges that might arise due to the closure of the road. But he sent them away, giving them 6 weeks, that within 6 weeks, so you people should find your alternative road. Otherwise, I close this place permanently.
The impact of this blockade is telling on their livelihood and has even led to the death of a woman who could not access the health center on the major express road, says these residents.
Since when they have blocked this road, we are helping our father with our heads to carry their goods along another way coming down. And indeed, some people have lost their life about this. We lost 2 pregnant women 3 months ago now, and we lost some of our brothers. Now, this school, we have a maternity down there. It's not existing for our people here. There is no space. There is no they can't take this way any longer. This is another problem for everybody. We have a woman that was laboring. Before we could spend our way from down village, cross down to that along that Kobakwe, we have lost the woman. Please, we are pleading on behalf for government to do something for us so that this man could live our way.
All they want is for the Ogun State government to prevail on the said owner of the property to restore their access road.
I know the governor of Ogun State is somebody that loves the poor people. Even if you see the way he's doing, he's a man of poor people. And I don't think he realizes this. And I don't think this chief, Akoni Kole Osho, is more than Ogun State government and more than the 25 villages that is here. Please help us out.
The owner of the property, 86-year-old Chief Adedotun Kole Osho, while responding to our inquiry into the matter, says he duly acquired the property from the villagers and has all the required documents to back his claim.
In short, I bought 2 pieces of land in 1986, and I have the agreement, the purchase agreement that I executed with the ballets of the 2 villages, 1986. This is the site plan of the larger piece that was first offered to me before I insisted that I would buy only if I was able to purchase the smaller piece in front. We could enter this road at that time, this piece of land at that time only via a village which is it was over a kilometer from the land, called Showo village. It was at the back, it was farming land. All of it was farming land. There was nothing on the land except overgrown farms. Eventually, I was informed by the Bale of Adedero village, who was looking after the land for me, that some people had come to chase him off the land. And I said he shouldn't go on the land again, that I would simply take them to court, which I did in 2006, and I got a judgment against all trespassers on the land in 2010. This is a copy of the judgment. When I decided to develop the land into an amusement park and other various things, a convention center, I applied for COFO because government at that time said that all the land in that area were all under government acquisition. and that I should apply for ratification. I applied for ratification. I paid government all the necessary fees, and eventually they issued me a composite certificate of occupancy covering the 2 pieces of land. The site plan in this certificate of occupancy, the site plan of the land rather, is attached to this certificate of occupancy.
He, however, refuted the claim that he maliciously blocked an ancestral path, which he said was never a part of the composite plan he obtained from the state government.
There is no road in this site plan. This site plan was drawn by government surveyor. His name is there and the certificate is appended to it. We started building the fence because a lot of fence, again to provide some security for workers in the place. And after, not before, after we received the provisional approval, and I held a meeting with the village heads that we were going to start development, they reported to Mr. Ogushola, that says he's the secretary of the association for some villages in the area. And he then went on that, the following morning, to a part of the ministry to report. And we were surprised about 10 o'clock in the morning when we received a phone call from the site that some people from the ministry had come to place a mark on the fence. We went straight away to the person they said send them from the ministry to say that you should have investigated within your department first, because we already have approval for developing that land. And we put up, we had to close the wrong access to the land to start rebuilding the one that your ministry had approved. So that is why you saw marked on the wall. Otherwise, we haven't made any contravention.
He added that they had enjoyed mutually beneficial relationship in the past and wonders why this sudden change of attitude towards him.
I started a school for children in that, on all the villages there. When they started, they numbered over 30. I created 3 classes for them, got approved teachers for each of those classes, and an administrator. And they were doing very well. The parents were excited, expressing their excitement. And I got one of the women to be cooking a meal for them on Friday. Every Friday, I would give 5,000 naira to the woman to cook for all those children. Even one of the ballets was driving to come and draw water from our borehole. We gave him access to do that. We've installed electricity by IBEC, they are called, with a transformer costing over 15 million naira. We have been at the best relationship from any part of that village since I purchased it. And I must emphasize that that village was purely farming land when I bought it. You will not see the sign of any structure on it. The only sign of structure you see there was a bulldog that I made about 1987 and was coming from Lagos with my family to spend weekend in that bush.
Going forward, Chief Koleosho says he is ready to help the community open up the existing route which they abandoned for his site.
To narrow it down to the people at the moment who feel aggrieved, the balance of the villages, all they need is access. The company may still be prepared to assist them financially to rehabilitate the road they were using before, but as of the moment, we just have to wait for the report of the Public Complaints Commission that held inquiries into this matter.
While attempts to get the Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development in Ogun State to comment on the issue was not successful, an inside source, however, confirmed that the ministry was already dealing with the matter. As it stands, development is ongoing on the said property, while the Adedoro villagers are still locked in. It's obvious that this is a matter of access rather than title or ownership, which the state government and parties involved should be able to sit together and resolve amicably.
Welcome back. Although no death was recorded from a fuel tanker explosion that occurred on the OTEDOLA bridge axis of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in December 2020, a narrow escape of a family has been described by some people as divine. Mr. GOGOMI DIMAS, who was trapped in his car alongside his wife, 3 children and a family friend under the fuel-laden burning tanker, recounts an experience that could have been fatal.
On the 19th of December 2020, OTEDOLA Bridge on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway is hit once again by fire. A fuel-laden vehicle tips over, spills its content on the road, and the rest is history. This spot is notorious for such accidents, which perhaps explains why eyewitnesses are quick to record their own version of the incident. The fire rages. A family battles for survival. That family is the GOGOMI DIMAS, who live at the Redemption Camp along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Today, they offer songs of praise and thanksgiving to God for surviving an encounter that could have left no survivor. Their vehicle was right under the burning truck.
As I was driving toward the OTEDOLA bridge, we are descending. I noticed up the hill there was a little panic. And of course, I have to quickly slow down and to observe precisely what is happening. Before I could slow down to a stop, I have already reached the bridge, and at that time I was able to observe that the tanker was already rolling back. The tire was already on fire. And at that time, negotiating back will be very, very risky because the tanker is already approaching. And beside the tanker also was a truck that was also rolling back. And I want to believe that at that stage, the truck wants to find an escape route. But on noticing that there is that tendency that they will collide with the tanker, he now match automatic brake. And at that time already I have taken a decision to quickly maneuver beside him on the arch shoulder to enter OTEDOLA estate. And unfortunately, when he matched the brake, of course, he was rolling down the slope, and the engine of the truck lifted up, and the whole body fell on us, and so we're trapped under the truck. At that time, the tanker now, probably because I want to believe that at that stage, the driver must have jumped off the truck and then left. The tanker now, the body of the tanker now went and negotiated right behind us and fell into that ditch behind us. And immediately the last chamber of the tanker busted. And because the tire was already on flame, it was easy for the diesel to caught fire. We were still trapped in my vehicle. All these children are already there. My wife and the family friend that Mrs. AMOS was also there at the back.
With one chamber already exploded, the search for an escape route in the face of death.
Effort to open the door of our vehicle on the other side, on the side of my wife now, proved abortive. And to wind down the glass couldn't wind down. And at that time, with my leg and the help of somebody that came, we were able to break the glass and he helped me to move my wife out. Otherwise, there is no way from that place I was trapped. There is no way I can also escape. It was when my wife was removed from the vehicle before I now got access out of the vehicle. And at that time, the person that came to rescue us was nowhere to be found. I could not trace him any longer. Surprisingly, I will say this thing, I wasn't feeling the heat. So I have to go and break the glass of that where they are trapped, and then began, with the help of my wife, evacuated everybody except Mrs. AMOS that was seriously trapped. And she was there. We tried at all costs. The fire was burning more. The intensity was getting much more. And of course, we can't leave her because I find it very difficult. What will I come and tell the family after my family have escaped? Mrs. Amos was telling her that we should go and leave her because already she had given up. But she refused. Neither did I equally leave that place. It was until everybody escaped before the second chamber of the tank got blast. And when it blasted, it engulfed the truck that covered us, and that was how everything went off.
The only thing I could hear was just the sound, bah! And we screamed, Jesus. And before I could know, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't say anything. I was like, God, I know today is the day. Please accept my spirit. That was just the only thing I was saying. God, have mercy, accept my spirit. I couldn't talk. I couldn't breathe. But later on, I could see my friend. She was pulling my hand, but to no avail. But to God be the glory. At the end of it all, the next thing I could see, I found myself on the floor.
In the last 2 years, several accidents have occurred on the side of the bridge outbound Lagos. On June 28, 2018, over 10 deaths were recorded and 54 cars razed. Similar accidents were recorded on September 20th, October 10th and 12, 2019, as well as October 17, 2020. The Federal Road Safety Corps blames them all on 40 articulated vehicles.
If you have to compare the two sides of the road, that's the inward Lagos and outward Lagos, you agree with me that the status of the roads are the same. The elevation we have at inward Lagos is what is replicated outward Lagos. The hill that you, or the valley that you have outward inward Lagos is replicated this way. So how come we have more crashes recorded outward Lagos compared to inward? In fact, we hardly record crashes involving trucks and articulated vehicles at the other side of the road. That's inward Lagos. The reason being that when the vehicles are coming into Lagos, they are not loaded. It's either they are carrying empty tank or empty container. So the capacity of the engine is able to pull the container. But when they are leaving Lagos, they are already loaded. One, loaded as per being loaded. Two, loaded beyond the capacity that the engine could carry. You can imagine the standard agreement for a tanker is to load 40,000 liters. But we have recorded where a tanker loads 60, 70, even 80. And you now still expect a head of the engine that is expected to carry 40,000 liters, carrying 60 and above. How do you think it will survive? Or a container that is meant for a particular capacity is being overbloated for the same engine capacity. So when they try to go up the hill, the pressure fails. And when the pressure fails in the course of trying to adjust, it rolls back. When it's tanker, the next thing it rolls into a ditch and fire comes up. And that's the hazard or disaster that we always witness. When it's container, the same thing occurs, it runs into other vehicles. So that is actually the major problem we have here. Because if we want to say the problem is the road, I don't see much differential elevation here that could cause the imagined hilly road that could be rolling back vehicles, especially articulated vehicles. So I believe that the problem we have on this road is the condition of the vehicle. Though sometimes 40 brakes, 40 engine capacity, and the age of those vehicles. I can tell you these vehicles came into this country when they've already spent more than 30 years outside. So for us to manage this is something that concerns every stakeholder.
Unfortunately, these 40 vehicles still ply these routes.
Join us on Eyewitness Report if you are keen on making a change in your neighborhood or locality. If you want your story to be told, simply take a picture or video and post on the Eyewitness portal, available on the channel's TV app, which you can download from various online stores. Ensure you add your name, location, and phone number so we can get in touch with you. That's where we draw the curtain on this edition of the program. Let's do it again, same time next week. I am Yomi Otaigbe. Bye for now.